Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now. Folks, buckle up because what's happening behind the scenes in the NFL right now, especially with the Seattle Seahawks, is nothing short of extraordinary. If you've been following the league, you know that the NFC West is always a battleground. But this offseason, things are heating up in a way we haven't seen in quite a while. And the latest whispers from sources close to the league suggest that the Seahawks are about to make a blockbuster move that could reshape their secondary and, consequently, their entire defense. We're talking about a potential trade for Sauce Gardner, the Jets' cornerback, and let me tell you, this would be a game-changer for Seattle. Right now, the Seahawks sit at 4-4 with a cap space of around $21 million. They're in a pretty decent position, but everyone knows that to take that next step and really contend for a Super Bowl, they need to bolster their secondary. And sources indicate that Seattle is finalizing negotiations on a deal that would send a first-round pick in the 2026 draft to New York for Gardner. Now, this isn't just any cornerback. Sauce Gardner, who was an All-Pro in 2022 and ranked as the 8th best player in the top 100 for 2025, is a lockdown corner. His stats are impressive: over 200 tackles in his career, 12 interceptions, and 45 pass deflections. His coverage grade, according to PFF, is an eye-popping 89. And he allows just 1% of targets to be completed against him, with an EPA per target of only 0.7. That's elite-level stuff. What makes Gardner even more intriguing is his ability to read quarterbacks. His quarterback rating when targeted is 85.1, surpassing even Woolen's 82.5 and projecting a plus 15% shutdown zone performance. That's exactly the kind of impact player Seattle needs to elevate their secondary from pretty good to elite. For context, Woolen has been fantastic, but pairing him with Gardner creates a duo that could dominate the league. The Seahawks secondary, already bolstered by Woolen and Witherspoon, would become one of the most formidable units in the NFL. Now, let's talk about the Jets for a moment because the trade also has implications for them. The Jets, who are currently 2-6 and struggling with a defense that's allowing around 26 points per game after Aaron Rodgers' injury, are in a rebuild mode. They're also freeing up around $12 million to rebuild their offensive line, which is a critical need. The Jets are sitting with a cap of about $15 million, but the trade for Gardner and the subsequent restructuring could push their cap up by around $27 million, allowing them to make some key signings in the offseason, including extensions for players like Wilson, who is earning around $18 million per year. The impact on the Seahawks, it's huge. Imagine this secondary with Gardner and Woolen locking down the perimeter, forcing quarterbacks to think twice before throwing. This would translate into a dramatic increase in turnovers, more INTs, more passes broken up, and a significant reduction in aerial yards allowed. Currently, the Seahawks give up about 220 yards per game through the air, but with Gardner's addition, that number could drop to around 180 yards per game, a massive improvement. That kind of shutdown ability not only makes life easier for the pass rush, but also helps the defense stay fresh and aggressive. And speaking of the pass rush, the Seahawks' defensive line has been performing well this season, especially with Mafe, who's racked up 5 sacks so far. The addition of a lockdown corner like Gardner means teams might be forced into more predictable passing situations, allowing the linebackers and the rushers to pin their ears back and attack even more aggressively. McDonald's defensive schemes are already showing signs of improvement, with sacks increasing by 18%, and this trade could take that even further. But it's not just about the secondary or the pass rush. The Seahawks offense has been doing their part too. Geno Smith, with a passer rating of 92.1, has been operating at a high level, and the team is controlling the clock better, averaging about 3 minutes more of possession per game. Walker III, the talented running back, continues to be a force in the ground game, averaging 4.2 yards per carry for around 620 yards total. His ability to exploit lighter boxes is crucial, especially if the Seahawks improve their play-action game with more playmakers in the secondary. Now, looking back at recent history, the Seahawks have been strategic in building their roster. The trade for Ramsey in 2019, which was seen as a similar move, elevated their defense significantly, leading them to a top-5 ranking in defensive efficiency. A similar approach with Gardner could push them even higher this season, perhaps into the top 3. This would make the Seahawks a nightmare for opposing offenses and a true contender in the NFC. The betting odds are already reflecting this optimism. Super Bowl LVII odds for the Seahawks have moved from plus 2,500 to plus 1,200, which shows a clear market confidence in their potential to make a deep playoff run. And if they get into the postseason, the defense with Gardner and Woolen could be the X factor that takes them all the way. The Seahawks would be able to lock down star receivers like Amon-Ra in key matchups, and their secondary could become the foundation for a championship run. On the other side, the Jets' rebuild looks more uncertain. While they're making moves to extend their cap and build for the future, their odds of winning the Super Bowl are still around plus 120,000. Cautious fans and analysts see their current situation as a long-term project, especially with the questions about their defense and offensive line. The trade for Gardner, however, is a signal that they're willing to sacrifice short-term stability for a chance to rebuild around a premier cornerback and set the stage for future success. All in all, this potential blockbuster trade is shaping up to be one of the most talked-about moves of the offseason. For Seahawks fans, it's an exciting time because it shows that the team is committed to competing at the highest level, investing in a defense that could carry them deep into the playoffs. The secondary would become a cornerstone of their identity, and with Woolen, Witherspoon, and Gardner, they'd form a trio capable of shutting down even the most potent aerial offenses. And let's not forget about the NFC West itself. The 49ers are still a powerhouse with their run-heavy attack and stout defense, but if Seahawks manage to pull off this trade, they would pose an even greater threat. The 49ers, with a 6-2 record, have been dominant, but the Seahawks' improved defense could make matchups in the playoffs much more challenging for them. The Rams and Cardinals are still trying to find consistency, but with this kind of upgrade, the Seahawks could quickly become the division's team to beat. Now looking ahead, this trade could also send ripples through the league, inspiring other teams to pursue top-tier defensive talents. The NFL is always about the big moves, and right now, Seattle is making a statement. They're not just content with being good, they want to be great, and they see this as a critical step toward their championship aspirations. The fans are buzzing, the players are excited, and the league is watching closely because a move like this could redefine the balance of power in the NFC. So in conclusion, folks, what do you think? Is this trade for Sauce Gardner the piece that the Seahawks need to finally break through and get back to the Super Bowl? Or do you believe the Jets might hold on to him, hoping to rebuild around their young talents and a solid defense? Either way, one thing is for sure. This is a story that's just beginning, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it unfolds in the coming weeks. The Seahawks are positioning themselves for a serious run, and with this kind of upgrade on defense, the chances of them making some serious noise in the playoffs are looking better than ever. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster move? Do you think Gardner is the missing piece to bring another Super Bowl to Seattle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seattle Seahawks news. We're in for an exciting ride, and I can't wait to share it all with you.